Hello, this is SR Staley, and I'm talking to you from Bellbrook, Ohio. And as the Hunger Games DVD is about to be released to the world, I realized I haven't commented that much on the difference between the Hunger Games movie and the Hunger Games book. And I think it's sort of interesting. I have blogged on this in various places. Just search SR Staley, Hunger Games, the movie, and I think you'll find it. But one of the things that's interesting is how the books themselves translate into the movie version. And in particular, what you can do in a book is you can really explore a lot of different ideas, like freedom, and in the case of the Hunger Games, freedom, liberty, violence. What does that mean? Whereas in a movie, you're really constrained by the format. In other words, you have to accomplish in 2 hours what could take nearly 1,000 pages in a three-book series, as in the Hunger Games. So how do you begin to distill all these basic ideas? Well, the bottom line is I really enjoy the movie, and I encourage people to buy the DVD. I saw it several times in the movie theater, and I would actually like to see it again, but it's out of the theaters at this point. But the reality is, the Hunger Games movie is not the same thing as the Hunger Games book. You simply can't deal with all the issues and the layers that go into the story that you can in the book that you can in the movie. And one of the things that was really missing, I think, in the movie was the ideas. I think many of the ideas behind the Hunger Games got lost, in part because movies themselves are a very visual medium, whereas books really allow the reader to think in the fantasy of their own mind and imagination to create a big part of the story. Most of that disappears in the movie because you see it right in front of you on the screen. So what ends up happening is the movie itself is very visceral, it's very visual, and I actually think the movie did a good job of conveying some of that sense of desolation, particularly in Katniss Everdeen's home district, which is the coal district. And I think even did a pretty good job of conveying the anticipation and the anxiety that went with opening up with the Hunger Games. And of course, as we're racing to try and survive during the games themselves, there were lots of cases where the emotions were very stark and very visceral. On the other hand, what I missed was that the books themselves are able to deal with some of these larger ideas. And probably the one for me that I missed the most was the issue of liberty and freedom, and how it was the importance of the Hunger Games was really in putting together a regime of oppression and suppression from the capital district on virtually all the other districts. And really what I enjoy about the trilogy is watching Katniss Everdeen's character arc evolve to the point where she starts out as just someone trying to survive, trying to get by through the oppression of the district, to one where she actually begins to take control of her own destiny. But to be fair, we don't see much of that in the books either. It's not really until Mockingjay comes around, and I'd show you that book, except I've actually got it on my Kindle. I actually don't have a hard copy. It's not until Mockingjay comes around where I really think Katniss Everdeen's character takes that fundamental leap where she really begins to control her own destiny and recognizes that the future of Panem is in her hands, or in the hands of her beau. And it'll be very interesting to see over the next two movies whether or not those ideas become more important as the story itself evolves. So, stay tuned. I will try and be more prompt in giving my review of the next movies as they come out. And so look at this as installment number 1.